in all the ways that God works in mysteries. The mysteries of God were not known to man because man did not wait for God to teach man how to know the ways that exist and that are called God. For in every age that man came, he used the word God, God, God. But yet no man knows what the word meant. For there is no such thing as a God. There is no such thing as a God. The word God was given to man to enable man to comprehend that the totality of power and might that exists in everything and in every way constitutes a power that is beyond the comprehension of man. And in order for man to know that this power exists, he was given the word God. So when he says, I am praying to God, I am praying to God, I have asked God, he does not know that he is saying to himself that I am praying to something that is greater than I am, that I have yet known. And man didn't know these things because man did not walk by faith, and without faith he can know nothing. And indeed he knew nothing. For men went everywhere saying, This is my God, and that is my God. And not one understood that the word God did not refer to any person. It referred always to the creative fiats in which everything came forth and from which everything works. And for this reason, God says, you have so many in dispute about who is God and who isn't God and what name God has and what name God does not have. You can't have a name for something that you do not understand. And there is no name. There is no name. To speak the truth is to say the things we give unto you, so that the whole world would wake up to recognize that when they were told they all went the wrong way, they all went the wrong way, they went in darkness, they went always in darkness. They didn't understand that what was told to them is that you are living an illusion that is not of life, but it represents the way in which you have perceived life. And every man that comes here and eventually leaves knows not that he lived an imitation of life because he had no knowledge of what life is. And every way that we send you to teach and to preach these things would you always give, that the children of your God may come to the true knowledge of the things that were hidden from them, that was not returned into them. When we said you are gods, we told them that you came with mights and powers greater than any might and power that existed here on earth. And they had mights and powers that were greater than what any tribe on earth had. And the reason God brought them here, that is, the might and the power that is God, brought them here, was to show them that what they had was special. And because it was special, they were the chosen ones. And they were chosen because they were demonstrating that might and power only resides with those that work in the divine with might and power. And so the children that is of God were those that had might and power, because they were the ones that worked always in the ways of the divine. We have always said to you that the time has come when the truth must be known, and it is given to be known. The children represented the tree of life and the tree of knowledge, both of which are the same. For they did not know that from them came forth all things of manner on earth. And so the children did not know the mights and powers they had that was able to provide every manner on earth, for they brought it forth from themselves. And that is why you say to them, whatever is outside of you is also inside of you. Whatever exists inside of you exists outside of you. And the children did not know these things because the children did not keep faith with the divine order that was given to everything. So whenever you have said to them that he who was blind said, I behold you as trees walking, it is the way that you tell them, you are the tree of life, for you have given every manner on earth from yourselves. And everywhere it came forth from you, it first came forth from your heart. For the heart is the seed of everything. And everything that goes downwards goes in the way that God shows them. Your arms and your legs all represents the way in which the many roots grounded themselves and spread into different directions. And from your chest upward is the way in which your branches and your leaves and your fruits grew. So that in all the ways you know not how you are in the image of the tree of life, you do not know how it is that you manifest from yourself the things that bring forth fruits in all the ways in which you go, in all the things in which you do. And so to be fruitful and multiply is to recognize that your good seeds are sown from your good deeds in your heart. And from your heart springs forth the tree that beareth the fruit that is good. And everything that comes forth from you that is of good returns back to you. For we have shown man that whenever the tree grows and it bears fruits, it goes back to man. And none of these things were understood by men, for men pursued the lowly things of this earth and did not recognize that in them there was the power and there was the might to be able to receive anything and everything, because it was manifested from them, and from them it returns back to them. And these things were never known, for men went everywhere, looking for things that were already inside of them, and learning not how to manifest it from within themselves, because they kept looking for the lesser things that they also brought forth from within themselves. So we say to you that to speak, teach, and preach is to bring forth the knowledge that they had not known. For we have always said to you, we send you that the children of God may come to the true consciousness of themselves and of the way in which the word God was given to them, and the way in which they were able to manifest the powers and the mights that were seen as God, that came forth from them. And because they were regal in the powers that they had, that is the reason they said we were queens and we were kings, because you were rulers. And you are rulers because you have the divine mights and powers to command whatever you wanted to command. and to have done what it is that you wanted to be done. And these things we say to you are always the ways that you speak, teach, and preach. For none of the children understand why it is that they came here and never last. And they never last because they did not keep faith with the divine principles, that is the divine order of the way that the laws of life work. And they hadn't known these things because they went the wayward way. The wayward way took them in the perishing way. And so we say to you, everyone that comes and goes leaves here never wiser than when they came in, because they did not understand what it meant to know yourself. They did not understand what it meant to know thyself. For when man would have come to know himself, he would have come to know why the word God was given to him, because all it did was manifested from him, a greatness that exists in totality, that is always manifested in all the many things that he was given to see and to know. Because there is illimitable projections from that which is almighty and all-powerful. And that is the way that it is omnipotent and omniscient, because it is everywhere, and everywhere that it is powerful. We teach you these things that you may teach it to the children, because we know that man on earth was always lost in darkness, because he pursued everything lesser than himself, and he did not come to really know who he is, and why it is that he was given to know that there is a God. That God is that might and that power that exists, that is over everything, that is of everything, and that constitutes everything. And that is the reason nothing can exist without it, because all things originate from it, and all things that originate from it become part of it. There are many things that the children are yet to know that you will teach them, because they too did not know that in every way that they violated the sacred principles that were given to them. They altered the divine purpose that was within them. And when it was altered, they also went the wayward ways of the tribes of earth. And they didn't know that every wayward way was a discordant way, and every discordant way was a distorted way. And so they became preoccupied with knowledge that meant nothing to them, because it did not enable them to know how to overcome anything that was alien unto them. And so the children succumbed, like everyone else on earth succumbs, to all the things that came forth from them that were distorted. And every distorted thing that came from man eventually destroyed man. And that is the way we show them in all the world today. Every action of man that represents the distortion of man produces nothing but destruction. And every way that man's seeds are his deeds, we have shown everyone that whenever your deeds are destructive, it is because they represent the seeds that you have sown that have become fruitful unto you. So this whole world is in turmoil. Will get worse, as you keep telling them over and over again. It will get worse, because man grew worse and worse and worse, and every deceiving way of man was a way of evil that came forth from men. And so man's world is overridden with evil. And in every way evil abounds, and man's eyes cannot see it. He knows not what fruits are being fed into him. He knows not what fruits are being fed into him. And so the destruction of man on earth comes from the deeds of men on earth that have overwhelmed man on earth, that have become the God that destroys man on earth. So whenever they say to you, what kind of God would allow all these things to happen, you say to them, because you did not understand what the God word meant. You did not know that you have created from yourself that which has become your distorted and destructive God. And everything that came from you is all that returns back to you. And that is why you were told, be sure of what you do, for everything that you do will come right back to you. It is the principle of the seed. It matters not where you sow it. It will return to being the fruit from whence it came. And all men became fruitful in the way in which their deeds became their seeds. And it is these seeds that have become the fruits that the whole world bears. In the wisdom that is of God, the Almighty, all-powerful, given to you, it is the way in which we have shown you that the children walked with almighty might and power. That is, they walked with God. And when they walked with this almighty might and power, they were able to transform anything that was given for them to transform. And so this whole of earth, that was a valley of bones, they transformed it into a paradise. And so the truth is what you give to them and to the world. All this nonsense that man has in his heads about different gods and whatever, these are different forms of evil that came forth from the many tribes. And they know not why it is that they behave in such despicable ways, because they did not know what the word meant, nor did they understand why they were told to love and do good. And that was the message that the children brought from the Son. Wherever they went and transformed, wherever they transformed, they commanded everything to love everyone and to bring forth goodness from itself. So you see, when we say to you that every tribe on earth are ingrates to the children themselves did not know this, for they came from a land of plenty. And they came from a land where goodness and love flourished. And they did not know evil, nor did the children of God know all the ways that they have acquired in this valley. And so they were always lost in the true knowledge of themselves and what it is that they were able to do when they walked in the almighty might and power that was known, is known, will always be known to them as God. We bless you always, we sanctify the ways given unto you, and we always show you the higher ways of a higher world that are yet to be known to the children of God. And you will teach them the things that they are yet to know, and you will show them the way that they have yet to go, so that in coming to the true consciousness of that might and power within them that is called God, they will find a way to become gods again. God gives you the many lessons that are to be taught to the children. The they who have ears and hear and know the things that you say to them will come to know why you say to them, turn away from these ways. These are not the ways that were given unto you. For these are the lowly ways of a lowly life, and you followed it in all the ways that you perished with it. For we did not give them a life of futility, but they have made it into a futile life because they did not keep faith with the sacred and divine principles that were given to them, and they forgot the way to love and do good. They forgot the way to love and do good. You will teach them what the word love means, and you will also teach them what it means to do good, so that in all the ways that you give them the way to change the way they think and they feel and they behave, they will return back to their godlike selves. For the children no longer remember who they were and what it is they were able to do. They must turn away from all these wayward ways. They must wait. They must wait that you may show them the way to return back to the higher ways of a higher power.